Hey guys, Darkovika here, and recently I've had a ridiculous amount of trouble recording gameplay from like audio issues. It's mostly actually audio issues. Most of it is like I'll be playing a game and the audio will just suddenly be like, nah, I don't feel good playing along with this anymore, and it'll just go off by like 30 seconds and it's so irritating. So I'm actually working on trying to figure out like a proper solution to this, and in the meantime, I figured I'd give you guys like an update vlog on what I've been doing in my free time, and we don't talk about the games that we're playing. It'll be really cool, like like the old days when I used to sit with a Nikon camera and point it at the mirror. I don't think any of you have been subscribed to this channel long enough to actually remember that period of my my YouTube channel where I would literally sit in front of a window, or not a window, but a mirror with a Nikon camera and do like a selfie vlog recording. But I digress. So recently, a couple of games have come out, and I've actually been playing those almost like solely. And that is Pokemon Sun and Moon, which I think everyone's playing, let's be real. Pokemon Sun, I have had a ridiculous amount of fun playing. I'm actually really pleased with how long the game is. It is really, really long. And I also really do like the story. It, without spoilers, I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, the story does actually get very dark and very real. One thing I do find a little strange, there's probably going to be a little bit of spoilers throughout this video, so please be warned. Vague spoilers, but spoilers nonetheless. I am actually uncomfortable with the fact that the main characters are all 11 years old. Like, it's canon, they do say it. But, like, the main character wears lipstick and short shorts and, like, knee socks and, like, I don't know. It's like 15-year-old, 16-year-old clothing in my generation. Not, like, 11-year-old clothing. Makeup, eye contacts, colored contact lenses, not for, like, corrective contact lenses. Really, like, I don't want to say provocative, because it is cute clothing for, like, a young girl to wear, but just, again, not like an 11-year-old clothing. But maybe that's just me being an old woman. I am 25 now, so for me, that's, like, just strange. So that was a little bit off-putting when I realized that they were actually 11 years old and not 15, as I had just assumed that they were. I will say, I caught the legendary Solgaleo. I say Solgaleo, it's probably Solgaleo, but I don't know, I like Solgaleo. I caught him with a quick ball in the first round. So, GG, I still have my Master Ball. 10 out of 10, IGN. I'm excited. I didn't think it was going to work, but I was like, you know what? I have this Master Ball. I have like 9 million quick balls. Whatever. Let's do it. I threw it out. Caught a Solgaleo. Was like, all right, you know what? GG. Worth it. The other game that I have been playing the absolute death out of is Final Fantasy 15. I am going crazy over Final Fantasy 15. I have at least like 25 hours logged into that game. I love it so much. One thing that irritated me though is that I've seen a lot of people complain about the fact that there isn't a girl in the main party. And honestly, I'm really happy with the fact that you never change characters in this game. Like, you always have the main four, which is Noctis, Ignis, Gladiolus, and Prompto. I actually really love those characters. And a lot of the people who are saying that there are no girls and that bothers them and that, it feels like Final Fantasy or Square Enix or whatever is making some kind of excuse like, oh, well, there are girls in the game. Like, the mechanic is a girl and a lot of the main characters who are really important to the game are girls. And I hear people complaining, or I read about people complaining that it just kind of feels like, well, yeah, there are no girls, but hey, this person's a girl and this person's a girl. Like, trying to be all like, hey, you should still feel happy because of this, even if you don't get this. And I'm like, honestly, I've never been a huge fan of the girls in Final Fantasy to begin with. They all kind of follow the same trope, which is just, it's boring. I mean, Lightning was kind of cool, except she was basically a female Cloud, and I liked Cloud, but I am willing to admit that the man has about as much emotional range as a rock. To be fair, I couldn't get through Final Fantasy 13, so I have no idea if she ever evolved into an actual emotional, creature throughout the series of games that came out of Final Fantasy 13. I could never beat the first one. The first one was just so boring. I didn't care about anything happening in that game. The fighting system was ridiculous. I hated the weapon upgrades. It was just, I would always get to the exact same point and quit playing, which was the first time you ever reach this massive grassy field. It's like the first time you ever actually get outside, and there are just all these massive monsters running around. And I remember every time I've looked at that field and I see the monsters running around the field, I would just get depressed because I'm like, I can't avoid these monsters. I want to run around them and I can't. There's no reason to fight them. I don't want to do this. I almost always get to that area and it's just like, you know what? I remember why I stopped playing this. Final Fantasy 15 is nothing like that. I have spent more time playing these side missions and going on hunts than I have actually spent playing the main storyline. At around like 20 hours, I realized that I was still on chapter 2, and I literally pulled back and was like, oh my god, I need to play the actual story. I don't know if I'm ever even going to get to it at this point. I will say I love the brotherhood between these guys. It doesn't feel romantic in the slightest. Like, with Kingdom Hearts, for example, you look at Sora and Riku, and Sora's got kind of like this puppy dog obsession with his best friend from childhood. Final Fantasy 15 doesn't feel like that. None of the characters feel stereotypically like feminine, I guess is what I'm saying. That's going to come out so horribly. Hang on, let me try that again. In previous Final Fantasy games, the guys always had this weird feeling of not feeling real. They always felt like anime tropes, I guess. And while I do like some anime, most anime just makes their characters completely flat. They're all exactly the same. They're basically all women, which, again, there's no problem with that. It's just it gets boring after a little while. And there's something about the characters in Final Fantasy 15 that just makes them feel so real. Each of them, if they all act a certain way, and they don't ever really seem to leave the boundaries of their character that have been put for them. Like, they always act like the character that they were marked up to be. So, without getting into specifics, Noctis is always kind of like a broody teenage boy who's trying his hardest to live up to a destiny that's kind of been thrown in his face while still not really being entirely sure about himself. He's just kind of like trying to force himself to move along, and you feel the fact that he's like an angsty teenager. Ignis is basically a fancy butler all the time. That's basically what he is. He's like the stereotypical British butler, except, with weapons. And then Gladiolus is just the masculine macho dude who's just like too tough to ever have like a real not bro moment, but like a real emotional moment. All of his emotional moments are filled with like trying to be macho and toughen up. And then there's Prompto, who's like the little babby. I love Prompto. He's so sensitive, and it all fits together super well. And they never ever do things that their character wouldn't do. They never ever do things that don't make sense. If there is okay, there's obviously the mechanic girl whose name is completely escaping me. I feel like it's Cindy. I'm probably wrong. She's the mechanic. And at first I was kind of uncomfortable with the fact that she's really sexualized. Like, really sexualized. And there are some very heavy fan service moments with Cindy. If you're getting your car like oiled up at the gas station where she works. But otherwise, it's not really about that. Like, there's not like sexual jokes. Like, she's obviously very pretty. She's very sexually, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I don't want to say driven, because that's not right. That's not part of her personality. She's just dressed very sexy. But she still seems to be at least partially dressed for the job. Like, her clothes look comfortable at the very least. I will give her that. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm not bothered by the fact that there isn't a girl in the main team. The main team is supposed to be a brotherhood of guys who have been friends for X amount of years, all varying lengths, and they're all going on one last road trip to celebrate the fact that, one of them is moving on in life and may not really be a part of the group anymore. And then, shit hits the fan and things change, and then, the road trip is about them dealing with that and coming to terms with the fact that things are still going to change, and they're going to change drastically. So I guess part of the storyline is 4 friends who are forced to realize that things are never going to be the same among them, and that, all of the years of friendship that they've had are just kind of changing, especially with how, events unfold. So personally, I love the storyline, and I think the characters are very relatable because each of them, I mean, even though I can't really say that I relate with someone who is being forced to become king, I don't think I've ever found myself in that kind of situation. There's something about someone who's trying to be forced into a part of their life that they may not have wanted, but they know they have no right to deny, and they know that there's no choice in it in any way, shape, or form. There's something respectable and even like understandable about that I really enjoy. And like all of his friends too, people who love him, but also, you know, probably have issues with him, a lot of issues with him. Prompto is really understandable. You know, he doesn't feel like he belongs in the group, but he does try his best to fit in and help his best friends who all, you know, care about him very much so, and he'll learn that. And it's just, I don't know, there's something about it that's very magical, and the way that they build the relationship between these four friends doesn't feel like it's borderline romantic. Like, it's not forced the way that sometimes happens in games that are trying too hard to force a friendship between four people who are all the same gender. It doesn't feel like they're going a little above and beyond there, like with Sora and Riku in Kingdom Hearts. There is a reason that there is an entire fandom around that. It's because it's a little borderline at some points. It's a little like, okay, well, you know what? Sora's really happy to see Riku. Forget Kairi. He'll just run right past her. Hasn't seen her in like 2 years, but Riku, it doesn't feel forced like that. It feels very natural. It feels like it's just always existed. I will say a lot of the cutscenes are really abrupt. Like, especially in the beginning. There's just something really abrupt about how the cutscenes end and start. All of the characters sometimes feel like they talk really fast. They talk over each other. They talk around each other. It's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Somebody breathe. Nobody's breathing. I need somebody to breathe in between their words. And it feels like sped up sometimes. It took a long time for any form of discussion about the past of the four boys, like how they met, to actually happen. And even then, I've only seen something between Noctis and Prompto. I haven't seen any cutscenes between Noctis and any of the other guys. Or I guess the other two. There's only two other guys. So that's kind of my other big complaint. I understand that there is an anime called Brotherhood that you're supposed to watch that explains how the guys met. I guess I haven't seen it yet. That explains why they're friends. It explains their pasts. However, I do not condone or believe in outside media being required before you play a video game. And my prime example for this is .hack, which, you know, 4 or 5 games were released, and each one came with a movie that you could or could not watch, and you would be missing nothing from it. Like, they came with a movie. There's a $25 game that came with a full-fledged animated, fully voice-acted movie that and had English voice acting, and it was not required. Like, you did not have to watch it in order to get the game. It was just literally a little bit of fluff, like what's happening on the outside world while .hack is happening. And that was something that I loved so much, and I kind of thought that that's what Kingsglaive, the movie, and Brotherhood, the anime, were going to be like, was similar to .hack. I was upset that you do have to pay extra to get Kingsglaive. Like I said, .hack came for free. I mean, like, the movies for .hack came for free with the disc. It did not feel like it was charging you extra when you got, like, a 2-hour full-length feature with your game. The acting is a bit weird, and they're fairly slow, and there's not a whole lot of frames in each sequence, but you know what? It doesn't matter. You got a free movie out of it. Who cares? But otherwise, yeah, that was basically, that's my only complaint, really, is that it doesn't feel like there's enough explanation early on about the guys. Like I said, I'm 24 hours in, and I only recently got the cutscene between Noctis and Prompto. So that's probably my biggest concern. My other biggest concern or complaint is just that there's a lot of walking. There's a lot of walking. There's a lot of walking, and you have to do the walking to level up a skill that Gladiolus has. So, walking ho, no choice. Walk 5, literally, I had to walk 1.5 miles in the game. I'm not joking. I had chocobos, so it went a little fast, but Jesus, it was 1.5 miles in game. So there you go. And that's probably not the longest distance I'll ever have to travel. I did not have access to the car. You have to, I don't know if this counts as a spoiler, but you cannot drive off the road. Your car is on the road. It will never leave the road. What happened? My computer just turned off. Please keep recording. Oh, thank God. I think it kept recording. My computer just literally went to sleep in the middle of recording. I think that's probably a sign that I should stop. So I will see you guys next time. I hope you enjoyed this video of me talking about Pokemon Sun and Moon and Final Fantasy 15 and Dot Hack apparently. And, yeah, it's just a nice chill out vlog. I don't know if this counts as a rant. I guess it's just a vlog. I'll talk to you guys next time. Let me know in the comment section what you guys have been playing. I kind of wanted to do videos of Final Fantasy 15, but I also wanted to experience it on my own. I'm really glad that I made that decision because it is an amazing game and I'm loving it so much despite my complaints. I love the characters. I want to cosplay one of them. I'm not sure which one. I really want to cosplay Noctis, but I don't think that I will fit him very well. Not that it really matters. Cosplay whoever you damn well please, right? But yeah, there you go. So let me know in the comment section below. Are you guys playing Final Fantasy 15? What games are you playing? Do you plan to play Final Fantasy 15? What's going on in your lives, yo? All right. I'll see you guys next time.